Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back, and as always, huge massive thank you for the support. So I'm coming back again with the square little book of Enchanted Winter. So I've finished working through the main sheets in the kit. I thought I'd have a little play with this because we do get the papers with the insert with the ultimate kit, and you have got a variety of lovely images in there. I mean, this doesn't necessarily have to be winter. There's a little penguin, there's some polar bears, and there's, you know, sort of similar theme as the kit. You've got your Arctic fox, more polar bears, but the images can be slightly different sometimes. Got that beautiful bird. I don't know what bird that is, but it's got lovely pink on it, which is gorgeous. We've got the owl. I mean, that could be any time, birthdays, Harry Potter, that sort of thing. This is sort of fantasy cards. Got your little baby leopard, snow leopard. You have got your tiger, your leopard again. Just the face. You've got your unicorn again. That could be birthday. Unicorn again. Same. You got your stag again, that could be birthday, winter birthday. And you got your stag again. You got the owl again. Little bunny rabbits. This one has got the winter trees on it, so could be a winter birthday though. You got your squirrel again, winter birthday, that could be. I mean, if you cut them out from there and just take the trees away, it could be any time of year. You've got this really moody tiger that I love. And then you're back to your fox, which is smiling, which is nice. Very happy fox. And then your wolf. And the wolf's slightly different because it's got the blue eyes, whereas the fox has got the orange eyes. Okay, now let me just grab the one that I was going to use. And this one, that has to be one that I don't mind cutting up. So 1, 2, I'm going to go with 3 sheets on that one. Okay, let's pop that to the side and bring in a piece of 6 by 12 cardstock. And I could have done this beforehand, but I didn't, so I'm just going to score this at 6 inches. Okay, I'm going to take that watch off because it's just annoying me. So we're going to make a cutaway card, but it's a different type of cutaway card to the ones that I've done on video before. So it looks trickier than it is, but if you practice with your trimmer, you'll be fine. I haven't had any problems, touch wood, yet. I'm trying to do it on camera, so there's bound to be one now, isn't there? But you know, just what was I going to say? Just give it a go. Okay, so I'm going to pop this over to the 1 inch mark. So I've got my fold here, and I know it is 6 by 6. So I'm just going to cut from the 5 to the 1, and then if I turn that way, I can do the same over to the 1 inch mark, and then cut from the 1 to the 5. So this isn't quite in the middle, but I can trim that after. And then what I'm going to do is put there's my fold line here. I'm going to put that into on the groove of my cutting trimmer. So we've got the trim line, the score line just hitting that cut line, and then I'm going to go with the point there. And what I'm going to do is and you can just check it by eye. Just want to go to those cut lines. So go a little further down, and then if I come all the way down here again, do that cut line. There we go. And then what I should have, I have to just use my scissors just to make those meet up just a tiny bit more. Let's do this one first. So it's just like a kept in at the corner, like a little pip. And then I cut it away, and that's the shape of my card. We've got that lovely shape. Now there is a variation on this. I'll tell you about it. I'm not going to make it, but instead of popping this in and cutting those off, what you could do is score to those lines and then fold that back, and then you would have a fold over card like that. But I'm not going to, that's not what I'm going to be doing today. Okay, so for my matte and layers, I'm going to be using some Miri, no it's not Miri, it's Diamond Sparkle glitter card. So let me do the front layer first of all. So I'm going to cut this at 2 notches under the 6 and 2 notches under the 6. Obviously I've got that piece left over, and then what's we got there, might have to just grab another piece, bear with me. Okay, so I've just grabbed another sheet there, and then for the back this piece is just going to be that normal 2 notches under the 6 and 2 notches under the 6. Okay, so that one is fine for just going on there. Now what I'm going to do is bring that in, so I'm going to do a piece to go here, and then what I will do is matte and layer my square, and that's going to come over the top. I might cut that down just a little bit. Now there's 2 ways you can do this. You can either take the piece that you've cut off and just pop that over, mark it on there, and then cut it and then trim it if you need to. I'm going to be brave, and what I'm going to do, even though this is 2 notches under the 6, I'm still going to cut it at 1 inch. So I'm going to go from the 1 inch and I'm going to go to 2 notches before the 5, and then I'm just going to turn that round, do the same on the other side. So I'm going 1 inch, and I'll just do that till that meets up. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is just take this piece, those 2 corners on, and I'm just going to cut that until that separates. And again on this side. Now I'm expecting I'm going to have to take a little bit extra off this because I've cut it to 1 inch. Obviously we've got that piece there. We could use that to matte and layer if we wanted to. Maybe you have to trim it a little bit more, but I'm not going to be using that. Now, as it stands at the moment, this is almost exactly what that is. But what I'm going to do is just put this to, because there's, if I put my card to the left, I get a cut at a certain point, but if I put my card over to the right, because there's this channel here, I always feel like it's slightly more. So what I'm going to do is just pop this to the first notch, and see, that looks like more than 1 notch to me, and I want it to be about 2 notches. Just going to take same on that side, and then I should have a nice border on there. There's quite a wide border, but I'm going to live with that. Like I say, a lot of it is going to be covered. And then let's put that out of the way. The papers I'm going to be using are from the Insert and Paper pack. I'm going to I'm going to cut this at 5 3/4 square. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same again. We're going to put this over to, I'm going to put it over to 2 notches under the one, and then I'm going to cut that from around about 2 notches under the one to about 2 notches under the 5. And I'm going to do the same on this side. Hopefully they should meet. And then if I go corner to corner, I always forget you've got to pick this up, otherwise it cuts right through. Okay, now let's see what that's like. I might be able to just get away with it as it is. We're going to have to take a little bit off. Again, we can always square that up. I'm quite nervous about doing this on here because it's paper. But let's just take that little bit off again. And hopefully that should mat and layer quite nicely. It does, but I just need to take that bit off. Piece of paper out of there, otherwise that's going to jam things up. So I just need to take a little bit off there. So what I'm doing is I'm just lining my edges up with the white bit on my trimmer. I'm just going to take those, hopefully that's going to be enough. Do just a tiny bit more off this side for some reason. So I'll just do the same again. Let's see how it goes. Like I say, this one is slightly more complicated than most of them makes, but worth it for that sort of end result. And then we've got that piece there. Okay. Now, these guys here, what I'm going to do is cut these together. So I'm going to cut them down. So at the moment they are 4 and just over 4 3/4. And I'm going to bring that down, I think, to about 4 1/2. And I'm going to do it by taking a little bit off that side. I want them all to be the same, so that's why I'm cutting them all together. Where are we? There we go. So it is cutting all 3 sheets in one go. And then lengthwise, we're the same, so just taking around about, actually I'm going to take these all off the top. Take that height out rather than go closer to his little paws. Okay, so now that is a 4 1/2 square. So let me see, am I going to get, probably will actually, 4 1/2 plus 2. So I'm just going to cut that to 4 1/2 plus 2 notches. I know it's a bit of a waste, but it's just easier than going hunting for another piece while I'm on video. You can be a bit more frugal. And then that should fit quite nicely onto there. Oh, I hate it when that happens. Right, let's use this bit. Then maybe we can get it from there. So what I've done is gone at 4.5 on one side, which is annoying. But don't worry, I will use that first, I think. There we go. So now we should have the piece the size we want. And we have. Okay. And for the backing, I think I'm just going to use this again. Let's have a look. Have we got 5 3/4? Yeah. So I'm just going to do 5 3/4 square. And that's going to go on the inside of my card. If you've got an insert with a bit of a tint to it, then it might be worth just using that. Now, what you could do with these is use your die to cut out the layers. I'm going to be really wasteful. I'm going to apologise for it, but just for speed on making this video, I'm just going to cut 1/2 inch off each side on this first one. And what I'm doing is just making a bit of like a pyramid. Like I say, I'm being really wasteful. It would be far easier to do this with your dies, or if you are able to do what I did earlier on the trimmer, just take maybe 1 inch off, and then the second piece I'm going to take 1 inch off all sides. I mean, these pieces you could use to decorate. Some of them, I mean, the pieces like that could be a border if you've got a smaller card. And we're going to chop his head off. There we go. So I'm not going too mad, just using 3. I'd say if you used your dies, you could probably get another set of pyramid out of bits that you cut away. Let's just grab that and pop that in the bin. Okay, right. So let's start doing some assembling. So the glue I'm going to be using, same glue I always use, the Clout All Purpose, which is like the alcohol Hunkydory construction glue. The Cloud Tacky glue, which is a bit like the PVA Hunkydory one do. And I'm also going to be using the Hunkydory permanent dots tape pen because we're using the paper to decorate. Okay, so this one we're going cardstock to cardstock, so I'm going to use my 2 wet glues. And like I say, this one is a slightly trickier card, but it's worth having a go at it. And what I can say is I didn't get it first time. I did practice on some copier paper with the layers. The front bit's the easy bit. I know we don't want that, we want the dots. The front bit is the easy bit, I'll be honest with you, just cutting that 1 inch and then cutting that diagonal to meet it. But these bits here, they are a little bit trickier, but it's like I said, just practice with a bit of copier paper. That's what I did, and I got there in the end. Like I say, it is one of those ones you have to check your progress as you go along, but definitely worth it. Okay, so again with this, we can go direct to my card with my wet glues. You can use your dotty tape pen if you want. I'm just going to pop that along that edge, try and get a nice even border. Go with loops. And you're actually not going to see much of the inside of this by the time the topper goes on anyway, so okay, let's put these dots on first, and then this tacky, not tacky, this all-purpose glue will help us float that into place, although those glue dots are quite forgiving. There we go. So I'm going to go around about there, and if I pop that to the side, can do. I don't know if I want to round these corners or not. Let me just have, might do actually, just on that top corner. Let me grab a little corner of round a punch, a little hunky-dory one. I'm just going to pop that in, and then just on the top layer, so I'm not going to do it on the decoupage, just on those layers there, because they're going to fit on, and then that's going to make sense. So dotty tape pen in those corners because we're on paper. A little bit of that all-purpose. That's going to help us just float that into place. And then when we're happy, if we press those dots down, that's going to keep that nice and flat for us. Now these ones here I'm going to use, actually I might need to just grab some, sorry, the rustling is really annoying on the video. Just some 1mm foam pads, and it's nice and easy. I'm just going to put some on just to support this. Now it is paper, so you do need to make sure it's quite well supported, which is why I'm going to pop, throw my scissors around. That's not a great idea. Okay, just give that a good press down, and we can peel these off. Are you guys all ready for Christmas now? I've got one present left to buy. Well, technically two if you count Henry's, because I wanted to get him some nibbles, but I can only get them from a place that does fish treats, really, because they can't be fish treats with any wheat in. It has to be just pure fish. Okay, let's turn our little kitten around, or our cub. Then we have to just try and match this up. So apologies if my head comes in and my grey hair. So I'm just going to, so I've got a line at the bottom here coming across and his paws. So I'm going to use that for the bottom of his feet. I'm just going to move that so it all sort of matches up at the top. So I've got a snowflake in this corner, I've got that bit in that corner there. I think that's about as good as I'm going to get it. Don't think it's on the one, because all of these branches match up, so that is how it should be. So again, next layer. One there, I've got a little piece here, I might be able to just slip in that and support. There we go. So just pulling these backs off and round. There we go. So a little bit of tacky glue. This just gives me a little bit of wiggle room time. I have got one of the Hunkydory glue sticks. Haven't tried it yet. I got one in my goodie box. If you've watched my goodie box opening, you'll know. But I still haven't tried it yet. So for this one, we're matching up his sort of paws and his ears. And then obviously we've got the tree at the side, on that right side. think around about there is right. Yep, happy with that. Okay, and then this one we're just going to pop some my usual glue on the back, a little bit of tacky, and then it doesn't matter if it comes over those layers. In fact, it's quite nice to hide them a little bit, you know. So that is where we're up to. Now the next thing that I want to do is just bring in my quickie glue pen, which I had the other day, and then what I'm going to do is just take some of these dots, maybe even this snowflake, and I just do straight lines on the snowflakes usually, unless they're broken up like that one is. So just as much or as little as you want. And then I'm going to take some Glamour Dust crystal glitter. Just going to sprinkle that over. You can always go back in if you want to add a little more. I think that's enough just to set that off a little bit. Actually, let's have a little, just grab that one there. That doesn't seem to have picked up any. Let's just screw that back up before like I say, just go back in if you. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so it just makes it look a little bit more expensive because we've got a bit of glitter on there. You can also, if you have any cold foil, transfer foil, you can get a glue pen that you similar to the quickie glue pen, similar to this one, where you pop it on, you let it dry, and then when you put that cold transfer foil on, or you can just pop it through your embossing machine, so just a bit of pressure and it will stick to it, and then you will have a foiled piece like the normal toppers. Okay, now I'm going to go in with these little silver gems. Actually, don't use that one, let's use this one here. Grab some of these, and then you've got a nice space here to add some down. You might also, maybe, like I had that holographic foil left over, you might also want to come in with some snowflakes, something like that. I might well do in a minute. Let's have a look, see what it looks like once we've got some gems on. So I'm just going to go for 3 in this corner. It's a perfect place for them to be and grab the attention. Do I want to use any of these holographic snowflakes? So this, I don't have any snowflake dies from Hunkydory. This is a Crafter's Companion one called Winter Wishes, and I did cut a few of them, so it's not just one. So I could come in and just, what I will do, so I don't do this on your hand unless you sort of know that the glue is not going to affect you in any way, you know, allergy wise and stuff. I know from the past that I've had no problems, and I'm just dabbing that on, just popping them so they are popping out. Let's go for one more. I'm just transferring the glue to it. There are other ways of transferring glue as well. You know, you could use your dotty tape pen. You could use your sticker maker machine if you've got one. I've got one somewhere. that's just going to add that little bit of something to that background there. You could also bring in, now I did have, let's have a look. So I've got a penguin one, wishing you the very best. I've got a happy birthday, or I could go with one I've foiled in black, and Merry Christmas. Or if we're not feeling that, if we go to the Little Book of Christmas Sentiments, this is not this year's. It's quite a nice one, but a bit too big. So I want something purple or blue, and with the silver foil, because that's the closest we're going to get to holographic. So we've got Sent from the North Pole, 'Tis the Season to Sparkle, Sending Christmas Cuddles. No, I don't like any of those. Let's go to the next little set and see if we've got a colour that's going to work. Got purple again, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, Merry and Bright. I think maybe Merry and Bright. Go on that corner, I think. That would be quite nice. Okay, let's put that back. And then what I'm going to do is grab a little foam square, a little piece that I've cut off already. This is 1mm again, and I'm just putting it on this corner so that I know I'm not going to be hanging anything off. And I wanted it to be clean on this side. So that is going to be my finished card for that one. So that's that first little serving suggestion for the just to glue down a little bit. I don't like it when it pokes up. I will put something heavy on that for a second while I'm making the next card, but I'm just going to get set up for card number 2. Okay, so for card number 2, what I've got is another piece of that 6x12 cardstock, and I'm going to make a side stepper, but I only want the side step to be 1 inch, so I've still got the bulk in the middle of the 5 inch, which is going to fit this pad because it's, you know, that's the way it is, near enough that size. So I'm going to pop this up to, let's do this a little slower. So I'm going to pop this up to the 1 inch mark on the right of my trimmer. I'm going to pop the blade on the 1 inch, and I'm going to cut down to the 7. And then let's just pop that out of the way and bring our scoreboard back in. And I think that on that side. So let's just score at 1 inch, 2 inch, and 7 inch, and then I can turn that over and score all the way up to that cut line at the 6 inch mark. So on this side we've got 6 inches going across to that cut line, and then on the other side I've done 1, 2 and 7. Okay, so when I've done this before and on the template, I think I've done a 2 inch side piece. So this amount here, you could, you know, it can be whatever you want it to be. I mean, if you for some reason you wanted a 3 and a 3 with the steps being 3 inch, you could. You just have to amend how far over you put it before you start cutting. Okay, so I'm just going to give those a little burnish down, and now we've got our little stepper card. So let's bring our trimmer back in. And I've got a holographic mirror mat. So this piece along the bottom is 1x6. So I'm going to start by taking 2 notches off the 1 and 2 notches off the 6, and then that's going to fit under there quite nicely. And then, oops, this piece here is a 1x5. So I'm going to take 2 notches off that 1 and then 2 notches off the 5, and that's going to fit into that space there. And then this piece here is 5 by 5, so again just leaving that little white border all the way around these pieces that I'm cutting, and that would make a nice little border on its own, so keep those bits. So I'm going to cut this bit at 2 notches under the 5, and then that will fit onto there quite nicely. Now again, just going back to those goodie boxes that I had, I did get this pad in one of them, which is the Stunning Snowflakes and Soft Snowfall, and I can see because I'm going to be using one of the darker images, I can see I've got the darker blue snowflake there. Happens to be the first page I open on, so that's perfect. And this is what I'm going to use for my mats and layers. So just wondering, I think I'm going to have this piece on the bottom, so this piece here, the 1 by 6. So I'm going to take this to 3/4 of an inch, and then I'm going to take that to 5 3/4. Not going to see much of those snowflakes there, but it's going to be a nice contrast against the other pieces that I'm going to use elsewhere. So this piece here is 1 by 5, so we're going to go 3/4 of an inch again, and then that is going to go to 4 3/4. Actually, yeah, I'm going to go cut it that way. So that's going to go there. And then this piece obviously is the 5 by 5, so we just need to go to 4 3/4 squared, 4 3/4. Obviously these pieces here, I usually save them in the pad because you never know when you just want that little piece. So next I'm going to bring in the pad. I'm going to grab another mini mat, which is that holographic, and the one that I wanted is the tiger. You know, my favourite animal is, well, one of my favourite animals is the tiger. So this one here where it's coming out, so I'm going to take 2 of those. Ouch. And again, just checking the size on that, it's just under the 5. I'm going to take a little bit off this. I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch all the way around. Oh, I'm not going to take it from there because I don't want to lose his paws. I might have to. Yeah, I'm going to have to lose a little bit. Oh, we're not losing his paws. Are still there. Okay, so now that is if I cut this at 4.5 for my movie mat, that should be a decent size mat. Let's have a little look. Hands are not moving, come on. Just pop it in, we can always take a little bit off. I'm just going to take about another little notch off, just because that is just a bit wider than I wanted. I just wanted that narrow border all the way around. Okay, so that is all of the cutting. So let's pop these bits to the side. Let's start assembling our card base. So I'm going to start with the longest piece here. So I'm not going to use the tacky glue on this piece because it is a small thin piece. I've just been finding lately that using those dots on the end has worked out a bit more successful for me without it popping up. Still get that sort of float time that I like, and then just when I'm happy I can just press down and those glue dots hold that in place. Again with this, because it is the paper, I'm going to use the dots and the all-purpose. I don't know why all of a sudden they've been popping up a bit more. I don't know whether it's because the card is absorbing the moisture in this room a little bit, or whether there's the temperature change in here. But this glue dot pen tape runner thing is doing the trick, so I just have to remember that it works better with that. Now with this piece here, what I always do is line up the top and the sides. It doesn't matter about the bottom piece so much, because that gets hidden behind the step, but you will see that top piece, so just make sure at the top it's right. I mean, obviously you don't want to be over that crease, otherwise it's going to stop the whole card working. Now just remembering I'm using that other side, so again some tacky glue, and I want the darker side at the top coming down to that sort of lighter ombre in the blue. Oops, just get it straight on there, that would be good. So there we've got that one there. And then again with this one's cardstock to cardstock, so we're fine with the glue. And I can just pop that on. Now we're going back to the paper again, so again dots in the corner, just because I don't like things coming up in corners. Just find that they get caught when they go in the envelope or in the box when they're stored. They're just more prone to damage if there are bits that pop up. So it's not just a personal thing, it is just keep the cards a little better. So okay, so that is my card blank as it stands at the moment. Okay, so we're going paper to paper again, paper to card I mean, so I'm going to put those dots in the corner. I'm going to go here with my all-purpose. And if you are a fan of gutting your card, I always find with the paper it's best not to, because you get a big dip. If you're going to be doing some layers, it's not so much of a problem because it might get hidden behind other layers, but otherwise I would say is probably not best to, unless you inlay a piece of sort of cheaper card in the middle, like plain card, to keep the levels right. But it seems like a bit of a faff for me. So I'm just using this dotty tape pen on this little frame that I didn't use out of the main kit. So this is a holographic frame. And then I'm going to come and I'm deliberately coming over his face and over his paw. Okay, so we've got him there. Now what I am going to do is grab some more pads, which I meant to do when I was setting up, but I didn't. So let's grab these. So I'm going to put a bit of height on here just for a bit of interest really. There's only going to be one layer of sort of decoupage as such. So I thought, well, put a little bit of height on here, and we've got, because we're going on to the cardstock, we don't have to go too mad with the pads, but let's take those off. And obviously this doesn't have to be this pad, this sort of style of card. If you've got any of these square little books, you can always substitute a different duo design pad with a different image. Very easy to do. And I'm sure we've all got loads of frames that we haven't used. I mean, I can show you one of my piles. Let me just grab it. That's one of them, and I know I've got 4 others. I actually keep them by my desk so that to encourage me to use them, but it's not really been happening quite so much. Okay, so what I'm going to do is come in with my scissors, and I'm just going to cut around this paw and up to this line here, up there. So I'm going to cut his leg off in effect, and we just need that to meet. There we go. And then what I can do is just trim that huge meaty paw. There we go, so we've got that one. And then the other thing I'm going to do, if I can pick it up, is just go around his head. So I'm just going to come round. I'm not going to worry about the whiskers because I've got the whiskers on there. There's no way I'll be able to cut around those. I'm just going to come round. I'm going to go to about there and then head out to his ears and round. I am going to go around all of his top of his head. I kind of want to make it look like he's stepping out of this frame. And again, I'm just going to follow that round and down to his chin. It doesn't really matter where I cut it to, because obviously it's going onto the same image. Just going to take a little bit of that dark off there. Okay, so this is what we are doing. So I'm going to just give these a little bit of a shape, and then for the 1mm foam pads again, just going to pop that onto there, and I'm just putting pads just down the middle because I want that shape to stay. And I'm just going to pop the tiniest little bit of pad up there just for support, and then we can pop these off. And bring my glue on. Grab my little tweezers for this. And then what we're going to do is just match up. Right about there, I think. And again, just tacky glue just to give me that wiggle room time. And this one matching up those beautiful ears and his head. There we go, just getting right at you. Okay, so that is that piece there. Now we need a little sentiment. I don't think Christmas Cuddles is going to be the one. Bear with me, the little card should just fall down. Oh, my Christmas cards that I was working on yesterday. They will be on Pinterest later. But, just put this there. Okay, let's grab another sentiment. So we'll go towards the back. We could go with black, we could go with white. What have we got here? Winter blessings to you and your family. Silent night, a star above, a blessed gift, hope and love. Oh, come let us adore him. Glad tidings. I don't think he's bringing glad tidings. Let's have a little look at the other ones. We can always come back to that one if we like it. I'll go with the darker blue, I think. A time for giving, dreaming of a white Christmas, Christmas wishes, thinking of you at Christmas, for a special couple, Merry Christmas from across the miles. No, I don't think that one fits really either. Let's just see if we have anything else. No, we might have to go here then, so we could go just for you. Oh, no. Let's go with this one. We'll go with Winter Blessings, because obviously if he eats you for his tea, that's a blessing for him. He doesn't have to think about his dinner anymore, does he? Okay. So let's just put that there. Ouch. I just poked myself in the head. Okay, so where are we going to put this? I think maybe at the bottom there. Let's grab another 1mm foam pad. Use some of these bits up. So a lot of the cards I've been making, well, not a lot of the cards, but the few cards I've been making lately, yesterday, are from the Decollage kit from this year. I didn't buy the whole kit this time. I bought just a few because I knew I only wanted to give them to sort of family and neighbours. So that one goes on there. And then I think if we bring these silver mirror gems back in, what we're going to do, try and get some of these small ones. Always hide underneath all the big ones, which is quite annoying, but I want the really tidgy ones, really tiny, really. Come on. I'm going to have to pick them out with my little tool. Okay, so what I'm going to do, so where I can see a snowflake, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in the middle. One there, 1, 2, 3, a tiny one there. Let's do those first of all. Still quite big. There is some real tiny ones in here. Like I say, they never want to come out. And an even tiny one for you. Well, maybe you then. Stay where you're supposed to be. Now, where did I put that other bit of glue? I knew I put a bit of glue there. Alright, let's turn you over. There we go. Doesn't want to stick there, but there was a bit of glue. Maybe it's dried. Here we go. And this is a glue that dries clear. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 there, and just going to go with one there, and I'll put one on this little sparkle bit, and then that's going to be the 7. Let's see, there's a little one. We need to go a bit bigger on these ones. Yeah, go a bit bigger on those ones. But I want the tiny one for that sparkle up there. There we go. Sometimes it helps just to get some of the bigger ones out so you can see the little ones underneath with that tray. Okay, so that is going to be my second card. Obviously there's loads of different ways you can use these, and I am going to come back again next time with this book to come up with a couple of other ideas. But if I bring in the 2 that I've made on video today, those are the 2 that you've just seen me make. There is another card I was playing with beforehand. This is also from this little book, and using the Hunkydory arch dies, which I think will probably be on offer because they're doing an offer on dies at the moment. And all I've done is just cut a piece of cardstock out with the arch die, just leaving a bit at the top to give it that hinge. Then I've cut another piece of white cardstock to go over just to keep the shape. And then I've used the glitter card. I've cut through that book again. I'll show you the little penguin from there. There he is. He was near the front. I did find it didn't quite come to the top with my arch. This is right at the bottom of the page. But what I did was just put that sentiment there to hide it. I was thinking of putting a bow there instead, but then I thought I need somewhere to put my sentiment anyway. But there's another little example of using that pad as well. If you want to see more videos of me die cutting with dies and these books, then just let me know. I do try and keep it a little bit simple for people that don't have die cutting machines, of no interest in using them, you know. So it's just a case that as long as you've got these materials and a trimmer, you could pick it up and cut away. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you're having a good week. See you next time. But until then, happy crafting. Bye.